Hello, this is Jenny McGarvey, and I'm going to share with you today the planning for this week in April in my Happy Planner. This is the Gold Dot edition for anybody who has the 2015, 2016, 18-month Happy Planner. I have removed the cover from mine and switched it out with a different Happy Planner cover, but the inside would still reflect the same Gold Dot planner. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of bleed through on the Monday morning from the week before, but I'm completely and totally not bothered by that in general. And if I were slightly bothered by it, I could cover it up with a sticker, which I will end up covering it with stickers anyway, so that is not a big deal. As you can see right there, I'm working with the Scraptastic Club April Plan On It kit, which is a planner style kit, and there are a lot of really pretty stickers, and they're functional and they're decorative all at the same time, which is exactly what I like the best. So it works out great for me. And then there's also a stamp set included, which you can see right down there in the bottom right hand corner. It's super functional, but it really allows for a lot of different uses, and that's what I like very most about it. I'll pull in some other items too, including things from the This Life Noted kit, but for now I'm working still primarily with the Plan On It kit since I'm doing the actual planning of the week. Now, as I've talked about in other videos before, but in case you haven't watched them, I like to plan first and then add photos and a tiny bit of journaling. This is my memory planner. I like to combine planning and project life into one, and this is perfect. I can tell all of the nitty-gritty details of our days because these are things that I absolutely know that I will have forgotten later on down the road, and so getting to capture those like this is something I'm really looking forward to having in the future. Now, one of the things that I can't stand is looking through all of my stickers and trying to find something specific, and I cannot find it. Like, I'm looking through these 50 different planner sticker sheets and trying to find the exact one that I'm looking for. And then I still look and I still look, and sometimes I find it and sometimes I don't, and that is completely and totally annoying. So, as you won't see in this particular video, I have actually done a new organizational system for all of these planner stickers and sort of grouped them together by type so that I can find things a little bit quicker, because as you can see, this isn't really working very well. I'm not able to do it the way that would be the most functional. One of my favorite things lately is to layer stickers. As you can see, I use that hexagon and then I put down a little blue arrow to go with it so that they can both tell the event. So maybe the name of the function on one and then the time or the flight number or whatever, like the case may be in this particular sticker. Now, this is the Plan On It kit stamp set from March, and it's just these cool little icons. They're a really good size. They are not too small because sometimes some of the icons are kind of small in some of the different stamp sets. I like these. They're just definitely a little bit bigger. I love the modern edge that these have. They're really fun. I like to use a black VersaFine ink. I do use other inks, but the VersaFine is my favorite. It is easy to stamp with. It doesn't bleed through. The black does have a little bit of shadowing, but that doesn't bother me, and it's very light in the Happy Planner. And it is perfect for all of the small details of the tiny planner stamps because it's formulated to give those types of results. And side note, if you're a beginning stamper, I highly recommend VersaFine. You'll be less frustrated with stamping. I also use VersaColor, but it does not provide the same results. They're still good. It's a great stamp. It's very inexpensive, but it's not quite as good, in my opinion, as the VersaFine. I like to use those three little banner star stickers that you can see right there in the afternoon section that's pink for a little event, because it gives me room to write different parts of the event. And again, it just changes it up. It makes it a little bit different, and it doesn't have to look the same each and every day. As you can tell from previous videos of mine, I am not a fan of everything looking the same. I really like to change it up. I really like things to have its own look and things not be really boom, boom, boom. I like to have it varied a little bit. Like at the bottom there where I layer a little banner sticker over the memo notes. The memo notes are so cute. They don't need anything to go with it. But I feel like the banner just adds a little bit of flair. And for me, in that space, it's a little bit bigger, and so it's easier for me to write on since I have such big handwriting. Now, I often don't have a whole lot going on Tuesdays. Now, sometimes there is stuff, so let's be clear, I will often have things on Tuesdays, but a lot of weeks, Tuesdays seem to be my light day. So there's often a lot of room for adding a stamp or adding a decorative sticker or a photo, whatever the case may be. And so I kind of like that because it breaks up some of the really heavy days where there's just a ton going on and I have a lot of things. And so that really keeps it visually easier to not only deal with but interpret as well. Now that blue sticker that I'm writing on is a slick one, and so I do use the permanent pen on that one. It's the same basically as an ultrafine Sharpie, but it is a pilot permanent marker, and I just really like the tip of it. It works well for me, but a ultrafine Sharpie will do the exact same thing that that does. As you can see, I'm still leaning on some of my favorite ways to use the stickers, just like with that, the little arrow sticker pointing to the baseball. I'm really a big fan of that for whatever reason. I can't seem to stop doing it, but maybe one of these days I will find something to replace that particular fad and move on. But until then, it's a cool way to use the stickers, and I like it a lot. Another thing I like to do is what you've seen right there, where I cover the header with a sticker. I like that it just sort of makes the whole column a little bit more cohesive since we don't have the evening denotation. Using a little bit of washi just to go right next to it, and it's like I said, I don't like to cover each and every header with washi. Even if I used 3 different types, it makes it feel too neat and tidy, which, believe you me, I like neat and tidy things, but in my decorations I like things to be a little bit different and each page to have its own feel. So that's why I do it the way that I do. But everybody has their own system that works for them, and I absolutely encourage you to go with that. Now, Yahoo, we have moved on to the second half of the page. We're working with primarily the weekend, which is of course the best part of any week, am I right? I'm going to go through my stickers and still try to find things that will work for me in my activities. And like I said, I'm not, at this point, not doing a very good job of keeping things organized and easy to find. They're all kept together, which is nice, but they're not laid out in a way that I can really find what I'm looking for fairly easily. So maybe sometime in the future you'll get to see my new setup for those. It's very, very simple and nothing that you couldn't do on your own, that's for sure. Now those event stickers are definitely something that I really, really love. I love a good box sticker where you can write your events in there, but these sort of take it a step further and leave that little space for adding the tiny icon sticker, or you could stamp there, or you could write something like, say, the time or something like that. So I really like the way that those look, and I like the way these particular sheets are set up, that you can have the contrast, so you can have one colored little icon sticker and then it goes on top of the different color, and so I like that. It changes it up, it makes it a little bit more exciting and a little bit more interesting. But if you wanted to use the icon that was the same color as your box, you absolutely could do that too. So I like that it just gives you a whole lot of choices. And if you've ever watched any of my videos before, you know that I like to change things up and I like things to be a little bit different and a little bit more whimsical. Is that a good word for that? I don't know. Anyway, I like things to be different. And so for me, using a yellow box and then a pink icon is just absolutely perfect. And it's exactly what I would want it to do. Now, I have mentioned before that those memo stickers are some of my favorites, and this right here, what I'm doing on this Friday, is one of my most favorite techniques that I'm doing right now, which is to sort of add two events to it, but maybe using that little sticker, like that iced coffee sticker, to highlight one of the events. I could have absolutely done the same thing up at the top for the volunteering, but I didn't. But I like to have that little icon or decorative sticker just to give it a little bit more, to separate those events, if you will, because for me, those two events are tied together. But I like to have that little coffee sticker to denote that separate thing. Because oftentimes I put the volunteer in one place and then the coffee in another. But in this instance, I can put them together, and that really works well as well. Right? That's nice. Anyway, so now down at the bottom, what I'm trying to do is create a little cluster of those hexagons, and they're fantastic. I love them, but they do require a little bit of thought. You can't just sort of stick them down and make it work, which is really not a big deal. I mean, it's like 15 seconds worth of thought, but it's a fun, and when you have the right result, like you can see here, now I'm using for one event all of these stickers to denote, but the thing is that they are super functional yet really cute. So yeah, I'm using a couple of different stickers to denote one activity. However, I like the way that they all look together. So it's not purely functional, but it's certainly not decorative either. So it's, it's the best of both worlds if you ask me. Now, luckily, we've moved on to the weekend, which is awesome. I love the weekend, and I love decorating the weekend because a lot of times there's some other fun things going on that I don't normally do during the week. And so it's kind of fun to get to plan on a couple of different ideas that aren't my usual, is what I'm getting at, I guess, because most of the time I find myself repetitively doing some of the different activities during the week, but on my weekends, there's always lots of different things going on. Now, I do use a lot of stickers and some stamping, but sometimes I like to keep it pretty simple and just write directly right on the page and make note of a particular event just right there. Now here, this didn't end up so well. I don't know, it just did not end up looking the way that I wanted it to look, which is unfortunate, and it certainly happens. So what I'm going to have to do instead is take a sticker, but choosing one can be difficult because, like I said in the case before with these mix and match stickers, is sometimes you need a specific icon. It has to work with the one that you've chosen and the color scheme of the page and that kind of thing. But anyway, so writing directly on the page did not work out in this particular case, which is okay because you know what? Then I can cover it with a sticker and there's absolutely no harm done. And like you see, this is super cute. I'm happy with the outcome. But I do like to write directly on the page sometime too. It's not, I don't find that I have to fill all of my pages with stickers. I like to do it because they're cute, but absolutely just getting the event or activity down on the paper is what's important. Now that February decorative sheet had a really fun bunch of different stickers, including this little sort of push pin one, which is a great way to denote something. I love the idea of it being like a little piece of paper that goes up on a cork board or something like that. It just ends up looking really adorable and I kind of love it like that. Now this is a This Life Noted add-on kit. I'm not sure for which month, March or April I would say, and it's sort of a book themed add-on, which is really super fun because who doesn't love book themed items? Okay, maybe there's plenty of you that don't, but I love them. Anyway, so I'm going to take a couple of pieces of the clear tape from this add-on and layer them right next to each other and create a little segment to denote my book club meeting, which is fantastic. I love book club and I love to denote it mostly because all of the book things are so cute and so fun to work with, and so I get to just have a lot of fun while notating a particular event. And because it only happens once a month, it's still very, very exciting for me to make note of in my planner. So now, as you can see, the actual day-to-day events and activities planning is finished. And what I'll do is I'll go back now and add, like I said before, the photos, the journaling, any little bits and those types of things that go along with the journaling that or with the planning that makes this my memory planner. So I print photos using my iPhone, my Canon selfie printer, and the Pick Frame app, I'm sorry. I also use the Canon app to get the photos from my phone to the printer, but that seems pretty self-explanatory, right? I just put photos on the different frames in the Pick Frame app, I'm sorry, that are the right size for where I want them on my page. So sometimes I print very small ones, sometimes I print bigger ones, sometimes I use 4x6. It really just depends on where the photo will be used. Now, as you can see here, this is where one of those sort of decorative bits comes in. I don't do a whole lot of decorating, but every now and again on a page like this, there's a lot of white space and there weren't actually a whole lot of photos for this week for me to use, and so I can use a tiny bit of decoration. These are just little die cuts that came in the This Life Noted kit, and so they're super cute and they're really fun, and it's really nice to use ones that can not only coordinate with my pages but are fun and I like to use as well. So as you can see, just a tiny bit. It's not like I'm going to go crazy, and there's still going to be plenty of white space because I do consider myself somebody who really likes white space. I like it to feel not cluttered. So I am going to just make sure that they're kind of where I want them. I like where they have ended up visually with the events and then any photos that I might potentially use. Isn't that sun super cute? That was a die cut from the Sweet Child of Mine kit, and I think it's super sweet. And the yellow goes with the color scheme of the week, and it's just a fun little addition to this particular layout as well. I just use the tape runner that I use for my scrapbooking, which is a Scotch ATG gun. You don't have to use something that involved. You can pick up little tape runners at Michael's or Hobby Lobby and add little bits and pieces of things, photos or ephemera or die cuts, those types of things, right to your planner pages. And those are really much, much easier than trying to use something else like a glue stick or anything like that. Now we'll move on to the right side of the planner layout. And like I said already, I don't actually have a ton of photos from this particular week. I'm not sure why, it's just a light photo week for me. But that's okay because the photos I do have are fun and I'm happy to include them in my layout. And so, like I said, I just use that adhesive, get some down on the back, and then add it right to the page. And right there I get to tell my story in photos, but also decorate the page at the same time. It's pretty fun. Now I found a cloud, which I had kind of wanted in the first place, but then I forgot about when I was doing that sun. But now that I pulled out the die cuts from the Drops of Jupiter kit, I remembered that there were clouds in there and that would go well with the sun from the other page, and that's what I really wanted to use anyway, so works out great. Now this is a cute stamp set, a reading inspired stamp set by Caitlin Schaefer, and she did this for Pink Fresh Studios, and it's super cute. It's definitely one of my favorites. I go back and forth between using it and the stamp set from Sweet Stamp Shop that is also a book club themed stamp set. They're just so fun to use. I really like it a lot. I like what it adds. And like I said already, I don't get to have book club more than once a month, so when I do, I really enjoy adding these fun little bits and pieces to my planner pages. And then as you can see there, I notated the book that we read this month as well. So it'll be a nice thing for me to look back on, and honestly, it'll probably be a nice thing for me to keep track of what I'm reading this year as well. Now, sometimes I pick out things to use on my planner pages, and then I just decided I'm not going to. Like there, for example, I was going to use those two die cuts layered together in that big white space, but then I really decided that I kind of just wanted to leave the white space, that if I added those die cuts, it would look more cluttered than I like it to be, and so it didn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to add those die cuts just to add something. I'd really rather leave it uncluttered and easier to look at. Now I keep my page protectors in the back of my planner. It helps me be able to A, keep them neatly organized, and then B, I can keep a good track of what I have left and when I need to purchase new ones. Because I feel like if they were put away somewhere else, I wouldn't really remember that it's time to get new ones, or oh, I'm out of this type or whatever. So that works out great for me. Now, I'm also not really particularly afraid of different configurations because I'm very comfortable using the sewing machine to change the configurations of the page protectors. But if you're not, you can also use a fuse tool by We Are Memory Keepers, and that will do a very similar thing in that you can divide and cut page protectors with it and not have the thread. I happen to like the way the thread looks, and I'm much more comfortable using the sewing machine than the fuse tool, but there's absolutely no reason to not use either one. Now I'm going through the Scraptastic Club This Life Noted kit, trying to find some cards and bits and pieces that will work for my actual pocket page to go with my photos and my stories. Now I tell you each and every week about how I don't use bulky embellishments on my pages, not because I don't love them, because I do, but I find that this album slash planner is going to be thick enough at the end of the year, and using chipboard or enamel dots or any of those types of things adds a lot of bulk that I don't want. And so I am keeping it flat, which can be very, very difficult to use because a lot of the best embellishments are dimensional. So I'm not really very happy about that. But it's okay because I find lots of ways to incorporate stickers and different embellishments that do not add bulk. Now this is one of my favorite ways to journal, is to take a space that's blank, like on this card, and add my own lines. I like to be able to make them not straight up and down with the same margins on the side. I like to vary them back and forth. I think it just gives it a much more fun feel and a much more whimsical feel. And to be perfectly honest, it just feels a lot more like me. So I will often just pull out a pen and get to journaling with the pen and then those lines that I've already drawn. Now, in the interest of disclosure, I do often use a pencil as well and then go back and erase the lines. So it looks like I automatically just wrote that by hand, but I didn't. I drew a line with a pencil and then erased that pencil line. Now these sticker books are very nice. This one was also included in the This Life Noted kit. There are so many different sticker choices. You just have so many different ones that you could use, and you could go a whole lot of different ways with them. There's lots of sizes and shapes and all kinds of things like that. So they're really fun to use, and you'll see that I use them again here with this particular card, which I'm working on. I took a 4x4 photo and printed it on a 4x6 with the Canon Selfie, and then I trimmed off the extra, and now I'm adhering it to a 4x6 card from the This Life Noted kit. As you'll see on the left side, there's a lot of blank space left, and that was on purpose. I'm going to take some of the stickers from this Amy Tangerine sticker book, and I'm going to layer them all together and create my own sort of, I don't know, embellishment, I guess, except for these stickers are embellishments on their own, but layering them together gives them a little bit of a different feel, and it looks a little bit different, and I'm pretty happy with it. So it's just a fun little technique. It really doesn't add significant bulk to my pages, though let's be clear, it's definitely thicker than just one sticker, but it is visually appealing enough to me that it's worth it. See, now look at that. It looks great in my opinion. I really like it a lot, and it was super simple. There wasn't hardly anything to do there, but it turns out just exactly how I would want it to. Now I'm going to take the 3x4 card that's already in the slot and just adhere my photo to the back of that. For whatever reason, I really like the way that ends up looking. It usually gives my photo a teeny tiny bit of a little frame around the outside, and then it also keeps all of the things from sliding around inside the pockets where they're kind of unruly, like so the photo tips, but the 3x4 card doesn't, and it just sort of looks messy. This way it's just two pieces, those two separate cards inside that pocket that I will later go back and sew up down the middle. But for right now, it's not necessarily while I am just putting all of this together. Now again, reaching back for that Amy Tangerine sticker book, I can add just this little sticky label that will allow me to write a couple of quick lines of journaling about the photo. And again, it's just so super simple, but it's exactly what the spirit of this project for me is about, which is capturing just the everyday details. Now, absolutely, I could have possibly scrapped a 12 by 12 page about that particular photo, but this also does the job. And I think it's one of those things that I'm going to absolutely love looking back on later down the road when I look at this particular album. But it's not really an album, is it? Now another thing that I like to do is make these cards work for me. So as you can see, that Today card had journaling lines on it, but I don't really want to use the journaling lines. So I'm just going to cover them up with my photo, but then I still get to have the Today at the top, which I really like a lot. And I like the way that the photo looks then on this particular card. So as you can see right there, so now we don't have any journaling lines left. It looks like it was just meant to be used the way that I used it. But you and I both know that there were lines right there. So if you wanted to use it for journaling, that'd be awesome. But if you don't want to, here is a good way to cover it up. Now you wouldn't have to use a photo. You could use different embellishments or stickers or patterned paper, whatever. But for me, I love to do it this way. It kills a whole lot of birds with one stone. There's a little bit of decoration that's completely flat. I get to use a card that maybe I wouldn't ordinarily use. So there's a lot of different ways to use this. Now I'm going to look for a 4x6 decorative card only to use in that bottom slot, and I pulled out that clock card. And it's really cute. I totally love it, but for some reason I'm thinking maybe there's something else that's better for that spot, which I don't usually have that. I don't usually have that sort of fear of missing out thing, but I just want to make sure that one of these other cards wouldn't be better in that place, maybe better suited or perfect for this particular occasion. Because you know how sometimes like a card will come with a kit and it should be used for, X, Y, and Z, and I don't want to miss it because I've definitely done that before. Now that Dreaming of Sunshine card is so cute and I absolutely love it, and I really want to use it there. I do. But then in the end, it just sort of seems like that clock is just really the way that I should go, and that's how I end up going. Now that's the end of my April 18th to 24th in my memory planner. I hope you enjoyed this look at it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you liked it, and it also lets YouTube know what you like to see. Thank you so much for stopping by, and make it a great day.